Love like he loved. Love the outcast.
This misguided preacher, whatever, he obviously he doesn't understand Jesus' word, of course. I love how these preachers who really probably don't read the Bible much love to carry on that Jesus said to love everyone, so that means you should allow an open border and love anybody and everybody that illegally crosses your border. Jesus expected us to follow countries' rules. Did Jesus go into countries and break the rules? No, he tried to follow them because he knew the people were under many oppressions. And when he said, love thy neighbor, he didn't mean love the pedophile that comes in and rapes your kid because they came in illegally, because they were released from a Venezuelan or whatever country, Colombian prison, and were in for life. But because Biden and Kamala decided to open the border up, every country in the world is releasing their prisoners into America. If you are a preacher or anybody that thinks that that is love, then you don't understand. This is what I mean. Most people, this is a man that thinks he knows what love means, but he only knows what love means to him through his eyes. But what does it mean to Jesus? Does he ever ask that? What is love in Jesus' eyes? Well, it's respecting a country's boundaries and laws. Yes, we have asylum, but these people that are illegally coming in here that have killed so many Americans, no, Jesus would expect people to stand up and speak the truth. I've always said, if there is one word, if you could describe the Bible and Jesus' word in general in one word, that word would be truth. So you'll hear all the time, you will always hear all the priests, all the people that went to seminary school, by the way, say that Jesus wanted us to love our neighbor. Yes, he did. But that didn't mean that you support things that are hurting people in your country. And open borders leads to trafficking of human beings. Jesus was very against that kind of stuff because he knew the people lived under oppression. So there's a limit. I'm not saying that, yes, let's love the gang member. Okay, no, I don't need to love somebody that has raped a child or raped anybody. I don't need to love somebody that has cut up a mother's child, 10-year-old, into little pieces, all because of a corrupt government that allowed our borders to be open. But priests and ministers like this, they're not driven by Jesus' word. Otherwise, they wouldn't say this. They are driven by their political ideology. And they use Jesus' word to try to convince people that that's the ideology side you should be on. This sermon is about as bad as the Catholic Church claiming that Jesus was a refugee in foreign countries and he was fleeing for his life. Jesus wasn't fleeing anything. Jesus was moving town to town to spread his message as much as he could. But it would be important to understand that there were many times that Jesus, Jesus flipping the tables over in the temple, he was angry about that, but it was because he loved. He loved. See, so what these sermons like this do is they make it seem like you have to love everybody no matter what they do. I have questioned this before because these priests and sermon people will never do this. But isn't Jesus talking about the people that are in Christ with you? Not meaning you should hate others, but he most especially if most of the people that do sermons don't really read the Bible. So there's parts of the Bible where Jesus talks about hating. I've mentioned this before. He wanted us to hate evil. So when you illegally come into the country, and we have millions and millions now because of the Joe Biden and Kamala presidency, then and they come in, people, first of all, it's evil to illegally come into this country. These aren't asylum seekers. These are people that are just fleeing across because they're getting all this welfare off of our tax money. Jesus was never about being a pushover. When did you ever see him be a pushover? Well, hear about him or read about him being a pushover with the Pharisees. I tell you one thing, what Jesus would say to this guy is that you're no different than a Pharisee. You're teaching all the wrong doctrine. You don't even understand my word. You don't even understand that what I want my people to love, the people that have been trafficking children, trafficking young women because of an open border. No, I would want you to hate it because I said in my word to hate evil. But this is what corrupt churches do. They only became their minister self or because they're too ideology. That's what they're obsessed with. That's what they worship. Yes, Jesus said there were some things you should hate. And yes, he said you should love thy neighbor. So then what do you make of it when he tells you to hate evil? Well, what's evil? Evil's very simple. Evil is people breaking into your country, thousands and thousands and thousands a day, running across, just disrespecting our laws, and then going on to rape children, to kill people, to brutalize American citizens, murder them. That's evil. Jesus said in his word, he didn't want you to love evil.